They said Amara was the perfect bride. Everyone in the city agreed. She moved with a grace that silenced rooms. Her laughter was like the gentlest rain, and her eyes held the wisdom of 1,000 sunsets. When Chidi, the city's most eligible bachelor, brought her home, his family rejoiced. They saw a future filled with laughter, success, and beautiful children. The wedding was a lavish affair, a blend of modern elegance and deep-rooted tradition. But as the celebrations faded and the city lights dimmed, a whisper from the old village began to follow them, a chilling echo of a promise made long ago. That first night, as Chidi watched his new wife sleep, a sliver of moonlight cut across the floor. He saw it then, a flicker of movement where there should have been none. Amara's shadow, dark and distinct against the polished wood, slowly detached itself from her sleeping form. It rose, elongated and without a sound, glided out of the room, a silent specter on an unknown mission. Chidi froze, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He blinked, trying to clear his vision, telling himself it was just a trick of the light, a figment of his exhausted mind. But the empty space where her shadow should have been was a stark, terrifying void. He looked at Amara, so peaceful, so perfect. How could this be? Was he losing his mind? The next morning, Amara was her usual radiant self, humming as she made breakfast, the sunlight catching the gold in her eyes. Chidi said nothing. How could he explain what he'd seen? That her shadow had gone for a walk? He'd sound insane, but night after night, the same chilling ritual unfolded. The shadow would peel itself away from her, a silent, two-dimensional thief, and slip into the sleeping city. Chidi's nights became a waking nightmare. He'd lie awake, feigning sleep, watching the dark shape move with an intelligence that defied all logic. Where did it go? What did it want? His work began to suffer. Dark circles formed under his eyes. His once easygoing nature turned tense and suspicious. He started noticing small, unsettling things. A vase of fresh flowers, withered and dead in hours. The faint, earthy smell of a riverbank clinging to their apartment, even though they were miles from any water. One afternoon, he found a small, smooth river stone, cold to the touch, tucked neatly inside Amara's jewelry box. When he asked her about it, her smile faltered for just a second. "Oh, that?" she'd said, her voice a little too bright. "It's just a silly trinket, a good luck charm." But her eyes darted away, and Chidi knew she was lying. The perfect facade was beginning to crack. Driven by a desperate need for answers, Chidi called his grandmother, the family matriarch who still lived in their ancestral village. He tried to sound casual, but his voice trembled. He described the strange occurrences, the walking shadow, the river stone. A heavy silence hung on the line before his grandmother spoke, her voice low and grave. "Chidi, my son," she whispered, "you must bring her here. Bring her home to the village. The elders must see her. What you describe is not a trick of the light. It is the mark of an Ogbanje." The word hung in the air, heavy with ancient fear. Ogbanje, a spirit child, one who is born to die and be reborn, forever caught in a cycle of torment, belonging neither to the world of the living nor the world of the spirits. They make pacts in the spirit world, promises to return, leaving behind tokens their Iyua that bind them to their spirit companions. Chidi's blood ran cold. Amara? His Amara? The woman he loved? A spirit child? It was impossible. It was a folktale, a myth for scaring children in the village. This was the city, a world of logic and reason. But the image of her shadow walking alone flashed in his mind, and a dreadful certainty settled in his gut. He knew his grandmother was right. He convinced Amara they needed a trip, a visit to his family in the village. She agreed, but a flicker of something, was it fear, reluctance, crossed her face. As they drove away from the towering skyscrapers and into the lush green countryside, Chidi felt like he was driving back in time, toward a truth he wasn't sure he could face. The village welcomed them with warm smiles and curious eyes. But as the elders gathered to greet Amara, their expressions shifted. They saw it. They saw the veil between worlds that shimmered around her, invisible to most, but clear as day to them. That night, under a sky littered with 1,000,000 stars, the chief elder, a man with eyes as old as the village itself, sat with Chidi. "Your wife," he began, his voice like rustling leaves, "is one of them. Her spirit family is calling her back. The shadow you see is her spirit self, growing stronger, preparing to leave this world for good. And when it leaves, it will take her with it." Despair washed over Chidi. "What can I do? I love her. I can't lose her." The elder looked at him, his gaze piercing. "There is only one way. We must find her Iyua, the object that tethers her to the spirit world. It's her pact, her promise to them. If we can find it and destroy it, the bond will be broken. She will be free. She will be truly yours." But there was a grave risk. If they failed, or if her spirit companions discovered their plan, they would reclaim her instantly, and she would be lost forever. The search began. It felt like an impossible task. The Iyua could be anything, hidden anywhere. Chidi thought of the river stone. Could it be that simple? He asked Amara about it again, more forcefully this time. Panic flared in her eyes. "It's nothing," she cried, clutching her purse. "Leave it alone." Her reaction was all the confirmation he needed. That night, while she slept a fitful, troubled sleep, Chidi searched her things. He found the stone hidden deep in the lining of her handbag. It was unnaturally cold, pulsing with a faint, unseen energy. He took it to the elders, who had prepared a ritual at the banks of the ancient river, the very river they believed was a gateway to the spirit world. As the drums began to beat a primal rhythm, Amara suddenly woke with a scream. She knew. Her eyes, no longer the warm brown Chidi loved, were now wild and black, filled with an ancient alien rage. "You can't," she shrieked, her voice a chorus of whispers. "They will not allow it. I belong to them." She ran from the hut, moving with inhuman speed toward the river, not to stop them, but to join her other family. The ritual was a frantic race against time. The elder chanted ancient incantations, his voice rising above the drums. Chidi stood, holding the stone over a sacred fire, his heart torn in two. He was trying to save his wife by destroying a part of her. At the river's edge, ghostly figures began to rise from the water, their forms shimmering and indistinct, their arms reaching for Amara. She was walking into the water, a serene smile on her face, ready to go home. "Now, Chidi, now," the elder yelled. With a cry of anguish, Chidi threw the stone into the sacred fire. It exploded with a blinding flash of white light, and a soundless scream echoed not in the air, but in everyone's soul. At the river, the ghostly figures shrieked and dissolved into mist. Amara collapsed at the water's edge as if a string had been cut. Chidi ran to her, gathering her into his arms. Her body was limp, her breathing shallow. For a terrifying moment, he thought he had lost her. But then, her eyelids fluttered open. The wildness was gone. Her eyes were just Amara's eyes. She looked at him, confused, weak, but it was her. "Chidi," she whispered, her voice raspy. "What happened?" "I had the most terrible dream." Tears streamed down Chidi's face as he held her tight. The nightmare was over. The shadow was gone, finally reunited with its owner. They returned to the city, but they were changed. The secret they shared was a bond stronger than any vow. Amara had no memory of her other life, only a faint, lingering sadness for a family she couldn't name. But with every sunrise, that sadness faded, replaced by a genuine, human joy.